So hello everyone. So in this tutorial, we are going to discuss some important cloud security concepts. So let's get started, right? So in this session, we are going to discuss various cloud security challenges and various uh, issues related to cloud security, software as a service security challenges, end user access, identity protocol access, standards, various standards, right? Issues, and how to overcome and how to have the solution, right? So that is a thumb rule saying that it is impossible to achieve 100% secure systems. It's not only for cloud, for any system, achieving 100% security is never possible, right? It's never possible. It's a thumb rule, right? So with this in mind, we'll start the session, right? So first, we have to understand what is cloud security, right? So cloud security. So basically, security means how we are protecting our valuable things, right? Valuable things. So cloud computing environment consists of both hardware and software, right? Which makes it very difficult to have a secure system for cloud computing environments. So many of those properties make security is a major concern for any cloud service environment, right? So different service providers or different service models provide different levels of security, right? So depending upon the your service provider, right, your security standards or security mechanisms will also differ, right? So this is another thing. So storing your data, right, in the cloud is of your interest. So as far as my concern, security is the shared responsibility model. That means it is a responsibility of both the end user as well as the service provider, right? Say for example, password, username, password should be handled by the designated end user. So if you are sharing your uh, authorization, access controls to someone, to third parties, or any other persons, there may be a chance of losing your data, right? And similarly, if your service provider network is compromised, then there may be a chance of losing your secure valuable data, right? So it is a shared responsibility model between the end user and the service provider, right? So cloud security is basically a branch of cybersecurity dedicated to securing cloud computing systems, right? So it's a part of cybersecurity because all the communications, transactions, right, will be executed through the internet, right, or web. So it is a branch of cybersecurity to secure the dedicated cloud computing systems. So systems, I say, it consists of both hardware and software platforms, right? So this includes keeping your data private, safe across all the online-based infrastructure applications transactions, right? As I said, it is a shared responsibility model. We have also some sort of responsibility to secure your data, right? So both the security from the user aspects as well as the service provider aspects is very very important, right? So cloud security is a bunch of technology protocols, set of protocols and best practices that protect cloud computing environment applications, right, running on the cloud, data, memory, CPU, servers, data centers. So cloud security is a single word, but it comprises of a bunch of technologies, protocols, right, and best practices, legislative policies, right? Agreements, right? To protect all the cloud computing systems, right? So first, we should understand what kind of uh, data or services you are going to protect, as well as the system aspects that may be managed. So, what kind of data or information or services should be shared to the cloud service provider, right? So that in case of any uh, compromise, right, or in case of any loss, how to retrieve those data or system from the cloud service provider, right? So backend development against security vulnerabilities, again, it's largely with the hands of service providers, right? So aside from choosing a security conscious service provider, so end users must focus mostly on what type of data should be shared to the service provider for storage, access, management, etc. Right? And hardware as well. What type of hardware should be shared as a resource to the service provider, right? So the scope of cloud security is to protect physical networks, right? As I said, physical networks, data storage like hard drives, memories, right? And flash drives, portable devices, right? Data servers, right? Starting from your core network or pool of network servers, right? And virtual computer virtualization frameworks, operating systems, right? Again, operating systems is software that hosts various types of softwares as a resources, right? And middleware, runtime environments, execution, start and stop, pass, etc. Data, right? All the information stored, currently running, modified, executed, and applications already uh, built applications, currently working on applications, and end user hardware like mobile phones, desktop, laptops, right? IoT devices, portable devices, etc. So it is the responsibility of both end user and service provider to protect all these uh, components. Right? So how does cloud security will work actually? See, uh, it will enable access control, authorization to data and hardware systems, cloud computing systems, right? And it also enable data recovery in case of data loss, right? And it will protect your data system from malicious attacks, right? Or any spoofing, hijacking, etc. Right? And it will eliminate the human error, the negligence that causes data leaks, right? And it will reduce the impact of any data system compromise by utilizing the different policies, mechanisms, right? So, and then comes aspects of cloud security. What are the different aspects of cloud security? Data security, of course, the first important aspect of cloud security. Data security is to protect your data, right? Your data. It might be normal data or secure sensitive data, right? In case of a medical record or any personal images or any videos, right? So the first and foremost aspect of cloud security is the data security to protect your data, right? So if your data is lost, then it will be definitely very uh, huge loss for us, right? So encryption is the simple and best solution to protect our data, right? Even in case of data lost or stolen, right? Your data is unreadable, right? The second important aspect is identity and access management. So identity access management, whether the user is legitimate or not. How to identify whether the user is legitimate or not? Simply by using uh, biometric identification, username, password identification, access control over the data, right? password management, multi-factor authentication, etc. And governance. We can implement policies, uh, techniques, tools, right, uh, to prevent the uh, threat, data loss, data theft, right? So, and data retention, business continuity policy. So, data retention. So, in case of any disaster, right, failure, how to recover the data. That is called data retention and business continuity planning, right? So, whether you have a technique or tools, methods to recover in case of disaster recovery measures, right? In case of data loss and legal compliance. So, privacy is the major concern. At the same time, how you are incorporating government policies, how you are imposing government policies uh, to protect the data, user data, right? Then what makes cloud security different? So the first again, data storage, right? Data storage. So the previous IT organizations, information technology organizations, depends on on-site data storage. So if you look at the previous generation IT sector, all the data will be stored on-site, right? So they will have their own storage servers, mechanisms, memories, etc. All the data will be kept in their own uh, servers, memory, etc. Right? But cloud, everything is available, stored in the cloud environment. So we actually don't know where exactly the data is stored, right? So it is the responsibility of the service provider to protect our data from malicious attacks, theft, etc. Right? And scaling speed, right? So we need to access our data anytime, anywhere across the world, and quickly as well, right? So what kind of interfaces, access mechanisms, methodologies provided by the uh, service provider to increase to meet the customer requirement and end user system interfacing. See the interfaces, how easy the interface between the end user and the cloud systems to access the services, right? And other cost as well, right? You can also include cost for the security, right? And proximity to other network data and the systems, right? So relationship and dependencies between various models, cloud service models. CPAS, SAS are hosted on top of IaaS. So if IaaS compromise, in turn, both PAS and SAS will also be compromised. So who will be responsible for protecting the IAS, right? So it is the question mark. So it is the responsibility of all the service providers and end users to protect the data systems, right? So cloud security challenges. First one, data protection, how to secure your data both at the rest and in transit, right? So both in static and while you are communicating and transferring data from one end to another end, how to protect the data. So simplest method is to encrypt the data. And user authentication. So how to uh, authenticate whether the user is legitimate or not, right? While accessing a particular data. And disaster and data breach, right? How to manage data, prevent data breach, disaster recovery in case of data loss, right? And data breaches, data loss, as I said, account or service traffic hijacking. If an attacker tries to hijack your data or account, what are the mitigation technologies to secure your data or cloud systems, right? And insecure interfaces, APIs, right? If there are any insecure or malicious or suspicious APIs, right? That customers use to manage how and interact with cloud services. And denial of service attacks, malicious attacks, cloud abuse, right? And shared technology vulnerabilities. Right? So these are the some security issues associated with the cloud computing. So how to ensure uses that both data and code are safe. So it is very hard to say, as I said at the beginning of the session, uh, achieving 100% secure system is never possible, right? So the best possible solution is to get some standard certificates from some governing institution that ensure users that provider has established adequate internal control, right? So if you look at the major market players like Amazon, right, Microsoft, Google, so they got their standard certificates from the uh, bodies, local as well as international bodies. So you can uh, rely on their methodologies to secure your data, right? As we have discussed already, different types of services, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, right? And the same, some examples for each service models, right? So how end users access the cloud? By using web browsers or mobile applications or desktop applications or APIs or third-party integrations, virtual desktop infrastructures. So using any one of these methods, you can access the cloud environment or cloud system, right? So end user authentication methods. What are the available methods? As we discussed, right? Multi-factor authentication, traditional username password mechanism, right? Uh, Single sign-on method, one login for multiple uh, services, right? Multiple services, biometric authentication, uh, OAuth or token-based uh, access control, right? And end user experience, so you can access the cloud services anytime, anywhere across the world, across the device, right? And real time collaboration, file sharing across the teams and locations, and automatic transmissions, automatic control over the data, automatic software updates are also possible with the help of cloud computing. And seamless scalability, scaling down or scaling up is also possible depending upon the service provider or organizational needs, right? And offline capacities, right? Uh, Also available in some service provider. So what are the benefits for end users? So your data is secured, right? No need to purchase any new hardware or software that will tremendously reduce your capital expenditure and easy to access enterprise goal tools because you can quickly build your application, deploy it without the need of for any hardware or software explicitly, and automatic backup and disaster recovery in case of data loss or failures, right? And cross device synchronization, right? So you may be using Windows, your friend may be using Mac OS. So cross OS device synchronization is also possible with the help of cloud computing and reduced dependency, right, between the IT sector, IT and the self system. And security concerns, what are the security concerns for end users as well as for service providers? How to prevent unauthorized control, right? Data loss, malicious attacks, right? Hijacking, and what are the data privacy, complaints risk should be included in the regulation of policies, phishing attacks, right? Threats, right? So all these things should be included in the service level agreement, right? Guarantees, right? Governance certificates, etc. And what are the best practices to ensure the security of computer systems? So you have to use strong passwords, right? Trusted password manager. You should not share the passwords, multi-factor authentication, OTPs to any other person, right? So always enable multi-factor authentication while accessing the cloud services, right? And you should always share your data with only trusted service provider. Secure networks should be used, and regularly review your application permissions and changing passwords is also advisable. And log out from shared or public devices is pretty much required for secured cloud control, right? And cloud access management tools, there are a lot of management tools like identity access management, role-based access control, zero trust security models. We'll explore in detail about these tools in the upcoming sessions, right? And future trends. So the future will be using AI to access the cloud services and without passwords. You can use passkeys, biometrics, or a combination of both, right? Edge computing, explainable AI, right? Deep learning models to access the cloud services, right? And increase adoption of hybrid and multi-cloud environments across organizations. And the future focus will be on privacy first cloud design and data sovereignty laws. So to protect your data from any loss or theft, right? So hope you understand today's session on cloud security, right? Thank you. Thank you.